I want to go over a trade that I made. This is Crsr Gaming, ticker symbol CRSR. We ended the week at $6.79, up a whopping 48.25%. I did not make that much, but I did make a significant amount. And first, I want to go over the price targets for Tuesday. This is where we are. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at roughly 806. Above that, at 3 standard deviations, 882. And at 4 standard deviations, which I do not think we will get to on Tuesday, perhaps down the road, that is $9.61. I definitely think we will stay within this range at -2 and 2 standard deviations. Now, to the south side takes us to roughly, I'm going to mark that out, and I'm going to turn it blue. That is 650. We could hit this level and grind sideways, but we are still in an upward channel on the 5. Now, to the south side of that, this gap begins, which is also an area of support on the way down, and that is roughly 642. -2 standard deviations, 491. This gap closes to the south side at 455. This is also support. I will anticipate a bounce off of this line as well. And -3 standard deviations, which I don't think we'll get to on Tuesday, but down the road, 413 and roughly 333. I actually only like to go within, again, 2 and -2 standard deviations, but I'm showing you the range. And looking left, you can see we were just grinding sideways, but kind of dipping down a little bit. But there was a gap here that I marked out for myself because I own this ticker. And that was 492. This landmine is no longer in play. It has already exploded to the south side, and then we just went sideways, dipped down again, but that took us down to roughly 492. And let me go over my actual trade. So this gap closed to the upside. Oh, let's see. Right, I want to make sure I get it to the right line. That took us up to, let me move that out of the way, 552. I trade a lot of tickers. Unfortunately, that can get you all messed up because then you're not really tracking it as much as you could be so that you see the buy and sell signals. But that was an expected move to the upside. Again, I got to move that out of the way. 568. This one on the way up from here and then hit resistance. 580, and this 562 already closed right there. Okay, so I will delete the 562 label, and this was an expected move after we went up. So this is done. That's 629 done. We've just been all over the map. 617. All right, okay, one more. That's it. Touched right there. That took us down to roughly 655. All right, a long time ago, a month ago, I bought in at 533, and here is where I bought. And then it went down, tried to go up. I mean, went all over the place. Could have just gotten out to get out since I didn't set a stop loss. And then we fell all the way down here, and then based off of earnings, it ran. The company reported $436.86 million. It was expected to bring in only $420.6 million. 26 million, my goodness. And we are off to the races. Now let me show you what we look like on the daily. We've been slammed all over the place. So I've done option R, been in this trade multiple times. Oops. multiple, oh my goodness. Look at that RSI. Be careful on the daily. We are getting overextended here, and then we're just going to roll over. For another leg up, possibly. The 1 year price target is $8. So $8 takes us to right, oops, there. I like to mark it out in white. So look at the wick takes you there, but it always sells off. That's not a real number. That's the exuberance number. Like, I got to go through and clean up all of this. But I've tracked this for a long time. I've traded this many times too, up in this, wow, up in this range, the $13 range. The 52-week high is 1302, and obviously it was higher, but that was even way past the year mark. Okay, and just for giggles, what does the weekly tell us? We've got room to move to the upside, and the same for the monthly. Let's go back to the 5. And let's do Amat because it ran also. I'll show you how I marked this out. We ended the week at 354.91. Okay, resistance 372.46-ish. I should just stop right there. But the outer bands down the road, 381.37, 389.87. If we chop sideways, okay, 337.37, 328.46, and roughly 319.82. Now we have this to deal with after earnings. Okay, they brought in 7.01 billion. The estimate was 6.87 billion. Note the bounce. Okay, so all the way, this is resistance, blew right through. This is resistance, this is another level, and your spidey senses and radar should be going off if you like to get out. And right there, we hit another level of resistance. I never expect price to get out into that 4 standard deviations range. I just place it, but really I should get rid of it. But if we wicked up here, you know that's the signal to get out. So this is your sell, sell, sell signal. That's not me saying that. That's what the chart is telling you. Okay, and then this is frothy, and boom, got slammed back down. And then now we're at, from here to here, this is support. So I will anticipate a bounce, but you know, we've got this gap to the south side that will eventually close and haunt us. This is a landmine if you like to go short. And, oh, and we have another landmine. So this will be a retracement. Command Z if you want to undo anything. So we ran up, which means, I got to get it off this thing. I have to expand it. Here, we'll just do this. Okay, taking us down to 304.38. Right? Grinding along the middle of the trend and in an upward channel on the 5. Let's take a look at this the daily because it's been a long time since I've looked at this as well. So I was tracking it in this range and then I stopped tracking it. And we have other gaps to take us down. The 1 year price target is now 402.93. Nice. Oh, so I guess I looked at this on Wednesday the 11th. Oh, wait. Oh, I just drew out the line when I just looked at it for myself, knowing that the earnings report was coming up. That's what I did. All right. So that was the price target, and now we've gone another leg up. So $400. Let me just mark it out really quickly. 402 actually 90. And sometimes it's just easier for me to draw it in. Or do this, 0.93. All right, so that's the next leg up, but watch out. We're going to roll over as well. But the daily, we have room to move to the upside. All right, that's back to the 5. And I don't want to go over wolf because I just did wolf. And this gap is done that I talked about. So congrats if you made some money off of that. So we are now back at support. And we're up 10.87%. Oh, and let me just clean this up. I guess that if you went short when I mentioned this, wait a minute, it didn't touch. Oh, this is going to haunt us still. It's the Hanta virus. 1579. So watch out for that. Close, but no cigar. We touched it. All right, and that one took us to 1797. That does it for me. That is a look at Crsr Gaming. What else? Amat and Wolf. I also did 4 other trades. I traded Fastly 2 more times, and I traded that this week already, so that actually makes it 3 times, and I think I traded Mara. I made 5 trades on Friday, and that's because I set my sell orders. I try to do it when I buy, so I lose out because I trade so many things and I get so busy, and I don't adjust the buy and sell limits, which is very important to do if you're trying to maximize the gains. But keep that in mind, as well as the wicks will help you buy something, which is why sometimes I do ridiculously low prices thinking, I'll just buy it if I can get there. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And we also need to look at Palantir because all the price targets to the south side that I talked about is filling. All right, that does it for me. I'll make a gap and go video also very soon. Have a great day.